Hello everyone, welcome to Noonie TV, and today we're diving into the new meta for Veteran Cloudrest portals after Subclass dropped in ESO. If you've been running portals with an Arcanist, listen up, this is a new way to play. Why have the Arcanist changed? Arcanist is no longer a top tier AoE class. With subclassing, it's been pushed into a single target role, which means the old RuneCarver and Null Arca combo just doesn't cut it anymore. The new meta setup is no Arca, strong spell damage boost and a bunch of uptime, deadly strike, increased depth, and channel abilities like Veteran Velati adds penetration boosting our single target damage, and one light piece of Vacuum Scoria, bonus penetration through the armor passives. Backbar is Maelstrom Infernal Staff, massive boost to walls of element damage. Some quite slight differences. On our front bar, what we'll be having is, let's take a look. We're going to be using Quick Cloak, AoE major evasion movement speed for portal awareness, Puncturing Sweep from the Templar, skill line, main spammable healing and single target pressures, jabby jabby. Flail applies debuff from the Arcanist, enhances Veteran damage through subclasses synergy. Veteran, your main channel beam and highest DPS source. Relentless Focus from the Nightblade passive, build stacks fast in portals, burst proc and minor berserk. And then finally in the front bar, Incapinated Strike, cheap, super cheap single target burst ulti, stuns enemy if is low. Then on our back bar, we're gonna have Structure Entropy, major sorcery plus the passive health boost, Walls of Element, AoE dot damage, triggers Maelstrom Staff bonus. I usually like using Blockade because it lasts a lot longer for the dots. Inspired Scholarship, Arcanist subclass buff for more sustained damage. Resolving Vigor, your burst heal for staying alive in portals. Keep in mind, in portals you use that extra heal. If you're upstairs you wouldn't use any vigor. Your flail and laser should be more than enough to survive. Plus you want to be all raw damage. And then finally, Concealed Weapon, passive damage boost. You're just keeping it on your bar. It's more for that utility plus the passive of speed. You need as much as possible. But if you want to use it as a spammable, it does hit pretty hard. And then your ultimate Unblinking Eye gives a massive ulti AoE burst if you need it to clear ad fast in portals or recover a missed face, especially when you're hitting those dots, those bursts, those bubbles, right? You can use the Tide King, which goes instantly on the enemy, or you can use the other one, which hits a little harder, but you have to target it a little bit better. Also, the passives on the Arcanist gives it a little bit more penetration. That's always good to have. So quick note, and you're probably asking, why am I not using any banners? Banners are super OP at the moment, you know, and it's definitely good to have. However, banners in portals, some groups are experimenting with them in portals, but I don't recommend them. Portals require tight movement, mechanical awareness, and rotation precision. Banners just don't fit that dynamic. However, keep this in mind, if you're not doing portals and you're staying upstairs as a bot DD, banners are a must. The extra group DPS and uptime makes a huge difference for upstairs. Now let's take a look at the blue CP. As you may know, you can take a look at mines in the red, you could take a quick look at the yellow. You know, you can always ask questions below, but the most important is your blue tree. So first we'll look at Master of Arms. That boosts direct damage like skills like Veteran and your sweep from the Templar passive. Let's look at Biting Eura. Enhances AoE skills like Walls of Element and Unblinking Eye on your skill bar. Fighting Finesse adds critical damage and critical healing. That means damage and healing all at once, and is great for sustained fights. It is super OP. However, because damage is at an all-time high now with the subclasses, and depending on your raid lead, some may prefer you to do Exploiter. But if you want to be in the safe side, Fighting Finesse is still to go. Either or is okay, whichever you decide to do, especially if you're in that over that damage cap. Then we have Wrathful Strikes. Just a win-win. It's a flat weapon and spell damage and increases for all your abilities on your bar. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that is the full updated portal build for Veteran Cloudrest with subclassing. Arcanist is still crazy strong, just in a new way. Let me know in the comments if you want build updates for other roles or trials. Hit the like, sub if you're into top tier PvE, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe. Till next time.